We talk about his age and his body, Johnny. 32 years old, 32 and a half, actually, and now missed 8 games over his last 2 seasons.
Right here.
Whisper Nation, we're nothing without your support. We love that you're all watching this video, and we appreciate that support, the likes and the subscribes. Hit us in a big way, so make sure you're doing so on the YouTube channel. But it hurts my heart a little bit, but I got to go with Julio Jones. So let's talk about the easy argument here, that the Corey Davis role is not one that really speaks volumes to how much he could be used in this offense. Obviously, Davis was the wide receiver 30 in standard and PPR, and 78% of his fantasy points came from receiving yards. So you actually like that because that's Julio Jones' bread and butter. If he can get about 80% of his he wasn't a big touchdown guy, so he could be the yardage monster again for this offense. But the offense is a lot different, Johnny. This offense is a lot different than what Atlanta put on paper for over the last 10, 11 years with Julio Jones. So for me, that's a little bit scary. Then we look at the cost. He's going in the 4th round. It's like the industry and fantasy fans don't realize he's not on the Falcons anymore. So all of this, Julio coming off the board with CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, Mike Evans. I mean, look at Evans and Robinson. They're clear number ones in their offense. And you look at Evans, like that's a really good offense. I'd rather take a Mike Evans there. You look at CeeDee Lamb and Cooper. So, yeah, say what you want about Cooper's injury, but that's an offense I want to be invested in. So I take a 1A or 1B with Cooper or Lamb before I'm taking Julio Jones as the 1B in this offense. We talk about his age and his body, Johnny. 32 years old, 32 and a half, actually, and now missed 8 games over his last 2 seasons. There's going to be 17 games in this year, and this is a guy that just we have history of wide receivers falling off a little bit of a cliff. We also have history with the change of scene, right, Johnny? When a wide receiver goes to a new team, it doesn't necessarily spell goodness, but I know what you're saying, right? You're saying, well, look at Stephon Diggs, look at DeAndre Hopkins, look at Randy Moss. These guys change teams. They're elite talents. They move to another team. Well, that's good, except for they were all the number 1 clear option for those teams. They got traded to those teams and needed to be the lead target getter. There's a guy that we all really like that has already proved that he's the best wide receiver on this team in A.J. Brown that lives there. And guess what? He already has Tannehill as his established chemistry guy, as his quarterback there. And that scares me off. So for me, the price hasn't matched up yet. The industry has not adjusted with Julio Jones. And for me, let your league mates say, oh, Julio Jones, that's a great name. He's been so great. Let them draft him. You can draft some other players around that has a little bit more of established role and look a little bit better as far as 2021 outlook, Johnny.
Whisper Nation is going off on this one. They love the call, Big Travie, so kudos to that one. I want to say and mention, it's funny, people are not they're not discrediting Julio right now for his injury stuff, and he's already dealing with some injuries coming into training camp. And yet, I could tell you a guy that has probably just as much upside, if not a little bit better, because he's going to be on a better offense, that is in the same situation, but everyone's writing off, and that's AJ Green. Just if you want that same kind of upside that Julio has, or that talent, because we know AJ Green is a good talent. If metrics are pointing that Joe Burrow is really inaccurate, and that could be the issue of why AJ Green was why he was. So it's just like, I love this call, and I think that if you're a person who is kind of looking at Julio and Big Travie kind of persuade you off that, but you still want that in the later rounds for free, go with AJ Green.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that. We've talked before in the past about how you could compare the two, but I will say Green's been a little bit more injury prone lately. I hate using that phrase, but a little bit more of the injury bug lately, so that could be the scare off there.
Right here.
Oh, you watched the whole video? That's impressive. But if you want to learn how to dominate your draft or win your league, why don't you head on over to thefantasywhispers.com and grab your draft kit today? Or you could click the link in the description below. And if you're still not sold, check out one of these videos.